started it very grassroots. From the very beginning, we had our entrepreneurship program, and that was going very successfully. But then the girls came to us and said, "What's next?" That was life changing. And I thought, "Oh my gosh, what is next?" Right? So then we developed the camps, and it's just kind of, it's become so much bigger than you and I. And it's everything we could have ever dreamed. So.
So welcome, Alyssa. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for joining me and talking
Yeah.
everything female strong and yay. And so
Yeah.
you've been a investor panelist a couple times.
I
How
have.
many?
This is my third year attending and second year as a shark.
Nice. Isn't it
Yeah,
fun to be a shark?
it is.
So what is your why? Why are you so passionate about female strong?
Yeah. I think it's important to invest in the next generation of leaders. And as a female in a male dominated world, I think setting the next generation of female leaders is not only important, it's essential as we think about the next generation for our kids and our grandkids.
Right. So how many kids do you have, remind me?
I have two kids. I have a
Two.
daughter who's 11 and a son who's 8.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I think I've shared with you, I have 5 boys, but and it's important for boys and girls, quite frankly. And we've been
it
talking a little bit
is.
about that with some of the other guests that it's not a us or them, you know?
No, I think it's creating equal opportunity and seeing as a female, maybe not getting the job even though maybe I was more qualified, but because I was a woman. And I think creating those equal opportunities regardless of gender or religion or whatever
Right.
that might be. And for me, I've seen firsthand what mentorship and good guidance
Yeah,
and
talk
having.
about that. Talk about somebody in your life that was your mentor.
Yeah, one of my mentors was an old CEO of mine, Paul Warburg, and he opened up a lot of doors and pushed me outside of my comfort zone. And I feel like a lot of growth is stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Totally. That's where all the growth happens.
It is. Learning's in the struggle.
So, what's one of your favorite aspects of what these young women or what you've seen these young women gain from the YEA program?
Confidence. I think it allows these women, young women, to see the potential. And, you know, life isn't easy and it's probably intimidating sitting or standing in front of a large group of people
Mm-hmm.
and being able to persevere and overcome that fear.
And that's what I love about tonight. This is like my favorite of the whole program, of
Yeah.
course, is tonight. It kind of all comes to a head, and they're we just had a seventh grader on, and she won. I think she said a year or two ago, but
I remember her.
yeah, I do too. I remember
Yeah.
her too. But how confident they are in front of this crowd of
Yeah,
kind of scary people,
for sure.
and going for the gold. But yeah, their confidence and their finding their voice. I love that.
Well, and it fills my cup, right? When you think about purpose and you think about the impact beyond just you as an individual.
Right. Well, that's a great segue to
Yeah.
our last question is what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
I think it's being intentional every day and how you show up in life, whether that's at work or at home. And legacy isn't about a title or money, or
Mm,
it's about how you impact, whether it's your community, your family, your team. A young girl presenting at Female Strong, it's that lasting impact beyond
right.
when you're here.
Right. I think there's so many of these young girls that are going to plant even further seeds. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. So
For
I
sure.
agree with you. It fills my cup too.
Yeah.
So, well,
Well,
thank
thanks
you
for
for
having
joining
me.
me. I
Yeah,
really appreciate it. And I'm
absolutely.
looking forward to being a shark with you later.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yay. Okay, lady. So I would love it if you would introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, Morgan Abba. I'm with Griffith Foods. This is my third time as a shark investor. I've been in the food service industry for about 15 years, 16 years, with Griffith for the last 5, and I lead our sales team on the QSR, quick service restaurant side. Um, Live out in the suburbs of Chicago with 3 daughters, awesome little women, and my husband.
So yeah, I would love Morgan for you to talk about your why of what the passion, where the passion came from for you to really get into Female Strong.
Absolutely. So, my first mentor right out of college, Nicole Stroman. I was day one of my first job ever. I had been an athlete, so I never had had a formal job before,
Oh,
and
but being an
she
athlete,
yeah.
Division I athlete
Yes.
is a
Yeah.
job.
It
But yes.
yes, thank you. But she took me under her wing immediately. I was 22 years old, and she was involved in Female Strong, and she and I have stayed connected for the last 15 years. And after her very first Shark panelist event, she said, this has your name all over it. It'll fill your cup in ways you could never, ever imagine." And boy, was she right. I hope that I can be part of something like this for very many years because it's just my favorite event.
I love it too. I love this event. I was going to ask you, are you a mentor or other aspects of Female Strong that you tap into as well?
I've helped a bit with some of the camps,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
leadership
The
camps, and
camps are
so
awesome.
yes, they're really special. In fact, my own stepdaughter, when she was 12, she was a camper herself, and then her older sister came and helped. So I've got to expose them to a bit of this, which is just really fun to see them lean into something so
Yeah.
special. But
And I bet they're a part of your why too. I feel like my stepdaughters are definitely a part of my why as well.
they are, yes.
It's-
And I have a little 18-month-old, and I look at her thinking, oh, how is this world going to
It
be?
feels like she's been a baby for a
I
really
know.
long time.
I know, but her personality is much
But
greater than
enjoy the
yeah.
babyhood. Enjoy it. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's easy to want to rush through that, and it
Yeah.
goes fast, as we all say.
Yeah, it sure does. But they're certainly part of the why as well.
Yeah. So her personality is what?
She's got a big personality. And it's funny because I'm 6'3", my husband is 6'7", so she's a big old baby. And,
Uh
like,
huh.
when we go anywhere, she's the size of a 3-year-old, but the stubbornness and the frustration of a little 18-month-old. So lots of fun in our house.
And I think that's kind of a cool thing to talk about is both of us being tall. I'm 5'10", and how do you feel about that being a woman, and in a kind of both male dominated industries as
Hmm.
ours are? What do you think? Got
I
any
would say
takeaways on that?
yeah, my parents were really amazing in that when I was a little nervous or anxious about being so tall when I was growing up, they said, in your personality and in your physical stature, never make yourself smaller for anyone. And I take that to heart.
That's damn
Yes.
good.
Yes. And I still to this day think about that when I'm entering an important room filled with executives or at an important conference or speaking engagement, thinking I I deserve to be here and I'm not going to make myself smaller, and I want everyone else to feel enabled and empowered to have that same mentality.
That's really big, and it sounds so simple, but sometimes it is hard to take up space and to feel like you're worthy of taking up space and
Yes.
finding your voice.
Yes, and also raising girls, I find it's still hard, and I would have thought it shouldn't still be so hard for them. And I
Mm-hmm.
see that there's still a huge space for them to learn that you are you are so worthy of all the good things. The event like today, one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite things the girls learn from this is, wow, I am so worthy of this, and special opportunities come because I'm trying my hardest at something.
Mm-hmm. And they learn how to network, and they, I think one of the things that I've kind of seen a theme of, they're never scared to come talk to us, which I love,
Mm-hmm.
that they just see executive women as humans and
Mm-hmm.
approachable, and I think that's going to carry with them their whole
Well,
lives.
you have to see it, right? You have to see. That's why it's so important for organizations to have women in positions of executive leadership, because the younger generations have to see, wow, this organization or this community or this industry celebrates women and
Mm-hmm.
respects women and puts them in positions of power, and that could be me. And I think these girls see that in some of the women sharks, and that's very important.
What advice would you give a young woman in terms of finding a partner? Being a strong entrepreneurial woman or businesswoman, what do you think is important for them to keep in mind when they find a life partner?
I would say some of the best advice I received in that way is to never be with someone who makes less of you, and but also know that you have to be a complete person before you are ready to find that partner for you. Like, no one, be that a partner or a friend or a coworker, whoever, but there's not going to be someone who will complete you. And
Ooh.
it's, if there is, you might rely too heavily on that person for so much weight of your own joy and happiness and fulfillment. And so it's important to find completion on your own before you're ready for someone to really add to your life together.
That's wise.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wise indeed.
My mom used to have this saying that I always love and I think about, and she was a Jungian analyst, as you know, and she would say a H and an A relationship. And the way you just described that is the H, where it's two independent humans connecting in the middle. And an A is more like a codependent relationship where you're, two leaning on each other, and the joy and the happiness comes in being an H where you're happy with your own life and you're happy with their life, so you can truly support each other. So I think that is important as these young girls grow up too. It's because it's almost back to even the height thing of just yeah, the whole it's okay to take up space and not really have to shrink in order for somebody else to feel powerful. You know what I mean? And that can happen. So that's cool. Okay, last question, lady. So, what is the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
I love that question. I have been thinking, especially with everything that you embrace and owning the legacy, that I think when I even hear the word legacy, it's something that you hope for without realizing that it's something you have to work for. And that, of course, you would hope to be remembered as someone who mentored young women and someone who cared and someone who listened. I think those are three things that I care deeply about, hoping that it's my legacy. And I often remind myself that if I want to be someone remembered with a legacy of being kind and listening and strong and supportive, I have to do those things when it's not so easy. This is easy. Today, one of the most fun events of the whole year that is inspiring in more ways than you can count. This is an easy one to show up for. But the nights or weekends or phone calls of listening or being kind or strong when it's not so convenient, I think those are the moments that I try very intentionally to be present for, because I would hope to be remembered in the inconvenient moments along with some of the fun days as well.
That's beautiful. And I think that's really timely of the listening, of really listening right now and not trying to divide or be divisive, but listening to understand and unite. Important. So
Well said. It's not so easy.
it's not. It's not. And it can get really, really hard and trying to see somebody else's point of view. And it's probably never been more important.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed.
Well, thank you for
You
being
are
here.
so welcome.
Love it.
You're welcome. Thank you
Yay.
for having me.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Woo. Hi, ladies. Thank you for joining me today. And so excited to be here. And thank you, Emily, for inviting me to really just celebrate Female Strong and everything about the YEA program. So I'd like to start real quickly with you talking about the last 10 years and how it's gone and kind of give your beautiful elevator speech.
Yeah, well, 10 years. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
I mean, it's wild. We went from an organization that we were serving 25 girls a year to now we've had over 3,000 girls go through our programs, which is pretty incredible. It is amazing.
Nick
but
and I were just reliving of the early days and
early
the
days.
days before. I think you should come join us. Come on.
I tell
Come over.
people,
Come on.
I tell people all the
Scoot
time,
over. We'll pull him in.
if you want to do great work, don't start your own organization. Find an amazing one doing great work and support them because it's not for the faint of heart, right? The early days.
Yeah, and now it's
Thanks.
just cranking. And we were saying he called you the goat. I was saying
Oh.
and how Emily has really just been the powerhouse behind this. And talk about your vision.
Well, I mean, the vision was really, we talked about this several times, very much similar to your story, right? Every time I walk in a room, I'm in commercial real estate. I was just at a conference the other day. Out of the 4,000 male brokers, there were 12 females there that do what I do. And it's been like that my entire 17-year career, right? So I was really tired of that. And I started looking into the why, and I found the statistics of girls at age 6 believe they'll be as confident as boys in their chosen career, but by the time they hit 19, that drops down to less than 30%. So I was like, that's a crisis. We got to fix it. So I went and found some other rare magical unicorns like Laurette and Lori and all of our amazing board members. And we really, started it very grassroots from the very beginning. We had our entrepreneurship program and that was going very successfully. But then the girls came to us and said, what's next? That was life changing. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is next? Right. So then we developed the camps and it's just kind of, it's become so much bigger than you and I,
Oh,
and
totally.
it's everything we could have ever dreamed. So,
So proud of you and so proud of where we're at. So I would love to hear from some of our sharks that are going to be our sharks on investor panel tonight of what is your why? Like what gives you passion around the program?
So I think for me, in addition to the professional side, I'm a girl mom. So you see that spark that little girls have, and then at a certain point, um, without support and opportunity to kind of build that confidence, you risk it, kind of backing off. So I'm really excited to be here, not just from a professional side, but from the idea of all those girls out there have moms who want as much for them as kind of as we do. So really excited that Synergy is supporting this, and I'm so glad that I was able to do it this year. I'm stepping in for someone who's a huge supporter of this program. Rod was not able to be here this week, so I'm delighted to be here. So
We're
thanks.
so happy to have you. And as the it spreads, the more people, especially after tonight. Like this
Yeah.
is such a cool event that it'll fill your bucket for sure. So what about you? What's your passion? And here you got to take the microphone.
So I would say that my why is that I see myself in these young girls. I was always really ambitious and a go-getter, but growing up, I had very traditional parents, and I love my parents, but my parents would tell me, hey, you're going to be a secretary, you're going to be or a stay-at-home mom. So I didn't have this option to be this entrepreneur or to be someone bigger than just staying at home, which is okay. But I always had this ambition, and I didn't tap into it until much later in life. So for me, when I see these girls, I gain so much from them. I'm so inspired by them. And quite frankly, right now I'm shaking, I'm nervous. And when I watch them, I'm like, wow, look at their confidence. They're 10
Yeah.
and I don't have that confidence. I mean, I do, but I don't have, to stand up there and speak in front of everybody. It takes a lot of courage. So they give me a lot of inspiration. I see myself in those young girls. So I love being around these programs, and I think what Emily's doing is really amazing. So yeah, that's my
Love
why.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. And we learned from one of the alumni that I talked to earlier. She said that what she learned from the program was instead of saying nervous, we're supposed to say we're excited.
Oh, I
I'd never heard that before, but I'm like, it doesn't go away.
Right.
The nervous doesn't go away. Every time I have to speak, I still get a little. Now I'm gonna say I get excited. I'm not nervous. I'm excited.
And that's shifting it to more of a positive.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So Nick, I want to ask you a different question. I want to ask you, what are you most proud of in terms of this program?
That's a great question. I'm most proud of the fact that,
You're the only guy.
Still here.
that we're still here. I mean, it is, and I'm not the only guy. There's like Ryan and a few other guys, right? So, but no, I think I'm most proud of just like the fact that this was an idea that Emily saw a need for, and she took it from an idea into fruition, and the fact that we're having the impact that we're having today. I love the fact that we've got a great team internally. Sarah does a great job, and I'm proud of the board. I'm proud of the girls that have come through the program, and certainly the YEA camps or excuse me, the female strong camps are just amazing. That's just out of an idea in a conference room to spreading the word about female strong. It's just been pretty amazing. So I guess a lot of things really. So
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we were giving a shout out to Brenda Dehart and Bobby when Nick and I were talking about that was such a pivotal point when we started, working with the camps and planting the seed and putting that big audacious goal of 1 million girls out there. So
well, we have 15 camps this summer, which is just wild,
it's
right?
crazy.
Wild. And I was just telling you the story earlier about there's a corporation that chose us as their charity of choice this year. And it wasn't the Women's Initiative that picked us, it was the dads, because we've done a camp 3 years in a row. And the dads have seen
We
the
don't tap into the
change.
dads enough.
Yeah, and
I
their
just was
daughters.
talking to a girl dad, 5 girls, who I just met for the first time, and he's like, "I'm gonna write the name of that organization down," and I'm like, "Definitely." His kids are 2 to 15, so. Sorry. So yeah, so I was just talking to a girl dad who I met for the first time on a video call, And I was explaining where I'm at and how excited I was about being here. And he's like, I'm gonna write that down because I'm a girl dad too. I've got 5 daughters. I was like, wow, you are gonna be well taken care of. The but it is. I mean, there's a lot of dads out there that have girls that I think share my passion for really trying to instill the confidence and help their daughters really become the best that they can be, and this is just a great conduit for that. So it's really terrific.
I see swag. I see swag. I see female strong and then like girl dad.
Yes.
I love it. I love
That'd
it.
be so
There's
cool.
there's a friend of mine has some daughters, and he owns a brewery, and he has a beer that he produces seasonally called Girl Dad. So I'd love to
Hey,
it's pretty
partnership.
cool. It's pretty good beer.
Yeah.
We need him to join.
Yeah.
So I think we probably only have one more question time, but Emily, I would love you to share, and I know you have so many, but one of your most favorite stories from the girls, like one that really
Oh,
just sticks with you.
it's so funny. We were talking about this. We've had 3,000 girls, over 3,000 girls go through the program. I mean, we have 6,000 stories, right? But I always come back to the girls that are like, my daughter had severe anxiety. The mom that came up to me and said, my daughter had severe anxiety. Tuesday was the only day I could get her to go to school because she knew if she didn't go to school that day, she couldn't go to the female strong class at night. So it's just like you never know with these girls how you're going to, what's going to resonate, right? But it's stories like that. And we have 6,000 of them, right? Or the stories with the dads that they're the ones that want the camp, not the women's initiative at the organization, right? Or, they think their daughter's confident until they get nervous going to the camp and they are so surprised by that. So, and then the story with Ola, we talk about Ola all the time, right? We send these girls to an Ivy League summer camp every year. And then, she's in Stanford then after the camp at a full ride scholarship. So there's an amazing way. You never know when you're going to impact. Yeah, impact. That's a great way to say it. Impact. Yeah.
I love what you were saying, Tracy, about and we talk about this all the time and it happened to us probably as we were growing up, except Nick, but but literally that moment when you do lose the confidence, and I was really tall and gawky, and like it does go away. And I always say I love the commercial of Run Like a Girl. That one makes
Oh,
me
yeah.
cry every time. And the little girls are running like strong, and then at this one certain age, it just like flips off. So I think it's just so important to support, like you said, to support them getting through that phase of their life. And I love the stories of the parents going the confidence change. I mean, it's one of our missions is confidence, and the parents can see it. I mean, that's who really sees it.
Well, thank you, Laurette, so much for giving these girls a platform today because this is so critical, right? And them being on a podcast, I mean, that's like their dream. So thank you for doing that.
We have a podcaster.
The one, yeah, of course, right? Right?
It's just so cool. She's a podcaster.
But it's just
Taking a pause right now, but
what you're doing with giving them a platform and giving the ability to tell their story. I mean, that's part of the whole, process, right? So thank you for that. Thank you for
Absolutely.
everything.
And I was just going to add that I hope that today they go home feeling proud. And I hope that they remember this confidence that they have today, that they're going to have today. I hope they take that with for the rest of their life, right? I want them to remember as they walk into their classroom or into boardrooms, in the future. I want them to own the room like they're going to own it today. That's what I really want that to be the takeaway today.
Well said.
I think that's a great ending. Well said. That's exactly. This is legacy stuff that we're all doing, and this is planting seeds in future generations. So thank you all for joining me, and this has been great. And let's go be sharks.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for doing it.
So thanks so much for being here, and please be sure to hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss any further content, and that we can continue to bring you inspirational content to you guys. Thanks so much.